In 2015, China's State Council released the Made in China 2025 plan, aiming to join the ranks of manufacturing powerhouses by 2025, achieve mid-tier global manufacturing status by 2035, and solidify its position as a leading manufacturing nation with top-tier comprehensive strength by the 100th anniversary of the People's Republic of China in 2049. The plan focuses on 9 tasks: enhancing manufacturing innovation, promoting deep integration of informatization and industrialization, strengthening industrial foundations, improving quality and brand development, advancing green manufacturing, achieving breakthroughs in 10 key sectors including next-generation information technology, high-end CNC machine tools, robotics, and aerospace equipment, adjusting manufacturing structures, developing service-oriented manufacturing and productive services, and elevating the international level of manufacturing. According to international assessments, by the end of 2024, Made in China 2025 had achieved an 86% completion rate, making significant progress despite global pressures. In contrast, since taking office in 2014, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi has proposed multiple 2025 goals covering the economy, infrastructure, health, and social development, but most have not been realized. Details are as follows. First, the economic goal. In 2019, Modi pledged to grow India's economy to $5 trillion by 2025, making it the world's third-largest economy. However, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, global economic slowdown, domestic job shortages, and sluggish investment, India's economy reached only about $3.51 trillion in 2024, far below expectations. Even with a 6 to 6.5% annual growth rate, achieving $5 trillion by 2025 is unlikely. Reasons include a 6.6% economic contraction in the 2020 to 2021 fiscal year due to the pandemic and a lack of specific reforms and investment plans. More critically, Modi repeatedly altered GDP calculations, including cow and sheep dung in GDP figures, which undermined the Indian government's credibility and made it a global laughingstock. When Modi claimed India's economy surpassed Japan's, it received no applause but was widely mocked by global media. Second, the manufacturing goal. Through the Make in India initiative, Modi aimed to increase manufacturing's GDP share to 25% by 2025 and create numerous jobs. However, the manufacturing share remains at 15%, with employment halved over the past 5 years and exports at around $300 billion, far below expectations. Reasons include cumbersome bureaucratic procedures, inadequate workforce skills, and infrastructure bottlenecks limiting foreign investment, with India's global market share overtaken by countries like Bangladesh. Additionally, the Indian government's frequent administrative actions to exploit multinational companies have ruined its reputation, turning India into a graveyard for investors. Third, the employment goal. Modi promised to create 20 million jobs annually. Over the past decade, however, only about 4.3 million jobs were added yearly on average, with an 8% unemployment rate in 2023, particularly severe among youth. Note that these are heavily polished figures from Modi's government. The reality is far worse. Reasons include an economy driven mainly by government spending, limited job absorption in services and agriculture, and a stagnant manufacturing sector. Modi's boasts of India as a global factory and office have failed entirely, with the only success being the consolidation of India's status as a global telecom scam hub. However, people in other countries now instinctively hang up on calls with Indian accents, significantly increasing the difficulty for Indian youth pursuing scam-related activities. Fourth, the tuberculosis elimination goal. In 2018, Modi announced plans to eliminate tuberculosis by 2025, ahead of UN targets. Yet, India remains the country with the heaviest tuberculosis burden globally, with limited progress by 2024. In 2016, there were 423,000 tuberculosis deaths, with recent improvements but far from elimination standards. Reasons include insufficient public health investment, weak grassroots healthcare, and low diagnosis and treatment coverage. It may be hard to believe, but India has the highest infectious disease burden globally. Bill Gates even publicly called Indians lab rats, triggering a meltdown in Indian media. Fifth, the sanitation goal. Through the Swachh Bharat campaign, Modi pledged to eliminate open defecation by 2019, later extended to 2025, by building 60 million toilets. The government claims toilet coverage rose from 38.7% to 84.1%. But many toilets lack use or maintenance, often without sewage systems, leaving many Indians still practicing open defecation. More alarmingly, Indians not only litter, pollute rivers, and defecate openly at home, but also bring these habits abroad, causing panic at tourist sites in Canada, the US, Australia, Europe, and Southeast Asia. Seeing groups of Indians sparks instinctive fear, as their actions are unpredictable. 6. The infrastructure goal. Through the Har Ghar Jal program, Modi aimed to provide tap water to all rural households by 2025. From 2019 to 2022, coverage rose from 16% to 72%, but some areas lack water connections or have substandard water quality. Reasons include uneven fund allocation, weak local execution, and water resource shortages. India's water quality is secondary when you see the Ganges River, where people defecate upstream while others wash their faces and brush their teeth downstream, rendering water quality improvements superfluous. In summary, Modi's 2025 goals were largely based on optimistic projections and political ambition, but the pandemic, delayed structural reforms, bureaucratic inefficiencies, and global economic uncertainty led to most failures. Despite progress in infrastructure and digitalization, shortcomings in employment, manufacturing, and public health have drawn criticism. Opposition parties argue these goals lack concrete plans and remain paper dreams. Yet, this does not stop Modi from boasting about the Bharat Empire's strength at G7 summits, claiming to surpass China. Nor does it prevent BJP supporters in slums from fantasizing about India as a superpower and promoting Indian cuisine globally. Yes, you heard right. That's Modi's own statement.